A VeVe video? Are you kidding me? Did you miss me? A new blockchain, self-custody in phase 2. Big announcements call for another Chris Coffee VeVe video. We're throwing it back to 2022 here. Let's catch up. All right, listen, I'm just going to get to the meat and potatoes. The founders already did a video you can go watch on YouTube that's like 6 minutes long. This one's probably going to be much shorter. The biggest thing here, if you just read the headline and you're like, they're migrating, where are they going, who is Collect, who's behind Collect, let's talk about that. First and foremost, if you go to the article, it just straight up says, VeVe is moving to Collect, which is a new blockchain built for digital fandom. Who is this new blockchain built by? I've never heard of it before today, and I've been working in the space for the last 3 years. Well, if you scroll down, it basically says that it was helped created by VeVe. I believe the word was actually create. So it's going to be, yeah, they said that's why we helped create Collect, a blockchain designed from the ground up to respect the nuances of digital fandom. So VeVe had a part in creating this blockchain. I have a lot of thoughts on that. I'll leave my opinions and my thoughts at the end of the video. I'm just going to give you the cold hard facts to begin with. So that's part one. So there's Collect, and they explain why they're doing it this way. Again, I'll go into that a little bit, basically for royalties and rights, security and provenance, flexibility. You know, you could put that whopping Spider-Man secret rare into your ledger. Would be pretty cool. You might be thinking, wait, what do you mean put it into your ledger? I haven't read the rest of the article. That was a little spoiler because, well, first off, VeVe's not going anywhere. There's no changes. There's no drop changes, anything like this. This is basically, they keep on saying the foundation. When they say foundation, they mean the blockchain, right? Like, a lot of people buy cars, but they don't know how engines work. Imagine the engine is like the blockchain, and the car is what the consumers actually see, know, feel, use, whatever. So for all you nerds out there that are taking the time to watch this video like myself, we know what blockchain is, and we know that Collect is going to be that foundation. Phase 2 that's coming is going to be self-custody. So self-custody is exactly what it sounds like. It'll be just like all other NFTs. This feature will roll out in phase 2 on the Collect migration after the NFT Collect. So this will be self-custody. In short, nothing changes. Your collectibles remain safe. So self-custody will make these outside of the, you can store it outside of the VeVe app into your personal crypto wallet. Whatever that is at the time, whatever you use, MetaMask, Robbie, whatever, Phantom, and you can do it just like any other NFT. Look, guys, this is the model I've liked for a very long time, as far as like the gated, like if your NFTs are inside of the app like VeVe, and you have the choice to take them out, is what I've always liked. You know, rest in peace Recur, but Recur did a good job with that. You could use Recur's platform, or you could self-custody if you wanted to. HRO or Hero, whatever, did a good job at that. You could collect them in the Hero app, you could bring them to Immutable X, or you could take them off Immutable X and store them on a cold storage wallet, or whatever you want to do. This is what VeVe's model that they're doing, that said, has been a good thing to do for a very long time. There were just other companies do it, but finally VeVe is doing this. This is essentially the biggest part of this whole announcement, which is huge. This is going to align with strong partnerships with major licenses and artists, enhance collector utilities and self-custody, a blockchain that preserves, respects, and elevates. And then they again talk about phase 1, phase 2, and to all the collectors who have been with us from the beginning, that's me. Thank you for your passion shaped this journey, and for those joining, welcome. You're stepping into the next evolution of collecting. All right, let's give a few opinions now, and let's kind of talk about this just a little bit. First and foremost, I'm glad VeVe's still around. I'm glad that Cryptoys just announced that they're migrating to Abstract Chain. I'm glad that all these companies or not all, a lot of them did not make it. Any company that made it from 2021 till now has some type of business model, some type of sustainability, preservation of capital, and it's still relevant. Kudos to them. Second off, I obviously think that any type of migration that eventually leads to this model that will allow you to self-custody is a W. I really do. Now, as far as them developing their own chain, Collect enables or whatever, and by the way, I kind of have the Twitter for it. If I went and followed them, I'm not sure if this is it, so don't quote me on this, especially if they like drop a drainer or something. But if you go to following, I found Collect Chain. Literally the only followers is VeVe Meister, and they reposted crypto comics and collectibles, and they obviously know a little bit about it. They literally have a Collect ticker, which is interesting. I don't know if that's, I don't know. We can get to that a little later. But going back to it is, their reasonings for developing their own chain is that you can have royalties, rights, security, provenance, and flexibility. I don't know. I mean, you could use base for this. You could use abstract for this. You could have used arbitrum for this. You could have used Solana for all I care. You could use anything for this. I'm not sure why they're creating their own chain. To me, I would be, if it was just this and not down to the self-custody, this would scare me. I would be like, well, if they made their own chain, they could set their own limits, write their own contracts, and make their own restrictions. But with it leading to self-custody, that does change things a bit. The royalties and rights, you can enforce that on any chain. Security and provenance, this is going to have less security than more trusted chains like, let's say, Ethereum L1, which again, if you can self-custody, you can always migrate it over. So not big complaints here. I do think it's interesting on like launching their own chain opposed to just getting a grant from like Base or somebody that would have definitely supported them. But I'm sure there's logic and reasoning there, and they'll probably end up getting more fees. So instead of like when you transact on Ethereum and you pay that, like you pay the fees on Ethereum, VeVe will be getting, and the contributors will be getting those base level fees, which will support the business model in the future that a lot of these licensors are going to use. Interesting decision, but I mean that it is what it is. And then again, for the self-custody, I completely and utterly support it. Guys, it's been a long time. I mean, it's been, I don't know, I think I talked about Omi about 9 months ago, a year ago. I made it very clear that anytime there's something worth talking about that VeVe is doing, then I'll talk about it. And here I am talking about it. I think this is a good move. For those of you that are still around in VeVe, let me know. You know, if you watch this video, especially if you made it to the end, and you're still around, or you were around at the beginning, let me know. I would like to see an old face, or even a currently familiar face that I forgot was even involved with VeVe. Drop your name below, and I'll see you guys next video.